The Destiny 2 showcase is coming on the 23rd of August 2022, and Lightfall is going to be a major focus of that showcase as we get into the early marketing schedule for the new expansion. Well, we didn't get a new Darkness subclass in Witch Queen, as Bungie has been reworking all the current subclasses to the 3.0 model, but Lightfall should be the perfect time to introduce a new Darkness subclass. Well, today I'm going to have a look at the evidence in the game as to what that Darkness subclass is going to be, plus also have a look at some of the clues in the lore as to how we may get our new abilities. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. We've got 4 subclasses in the game right now, so Arc, Solar, Void and Stasis. The first 3 have been with us since the beginning of Destiny in 2014, and Stasis was introduced as part of Beyond Light back in November 2020. The 3 light subclasses, Arc, Solar and Void, currently going through the 3.0 transformation, moving to the aspects and fragment system to align with Stasis. So Solar and Void have been completed recently, and we're expecting Arc to arrive in Season 18, coming on the same day as the showcase on the 23rd of August 2022. Well, Stasis was our first Darkness subclass introduced in 2020, and Bungie is likely to be mindful of introducing a new Darkness subclass as strong as Stasis was. The introduction of Stasis was a rocky period in the history of Destiny 2, as many players felt it was overpowered and a few high-profile players left the game for good because they felt it ruined PvP. 2021 didn't see a major release from Destiny 2, although we did have a number of good seasons, like Chosen and Splicer, and then we had a very long season with Season of the Lost because of the delay to the Witch Queen expansion. Well, Bungie took the time in 2021 to balance Stasis, ultimately bug fixing and balancing Stasis to be a manageable subclass. Well, arguably, since that balancing took place, Destiny 2 has been in a great place in PvE content, given that decoupling between PvP and PvE balancing, although PvP definitely still needs some love. Bungie always faces a tough task introducing a new subclass, so they want it to be a desirable option for new players, as it's going to be a major selling point for a new expansion, but they don't want it to be too overpowered, as it will ruin the balance of the current game. Well, next up, let's have a look at what that new Darkness subclass could be. So there's been speculation for some time that we're going to be getting a poison-based Darkness subclass, given we've already got poison elements in the game right now. Thorn is the first example, and that hand cannon has the perk Mark of the Devourer, where rounds pierce targets and deal damage over time, and kills with the weapon leave behind remnants. Also, you've got Soul Devourer, where absorbing a remnant strengthens Mark of the Devourer and partially refills the magazine. Osteostriga is another example of poison effects that was introduced in the Witch Queen. So Screaming Swarm, and that fires a stream of sentient toxic projectiles that track the targeted enemy. Then you've got Toxic Overload, so landing a final blow or multiple precision hits triggers a burst that poisons nearby targets. Well, finally, we've got the Necrotic Grip. They are exotic gauntlets for the Warlock, and they also spread poison-like effects on enemies. They come with the perk Grasp of the Devourer, where damaging combatants envenoms them with a poison that deals damage over time, and defeating a poison combatant spreads the condition to nearby combatants. Well, Thorn doesn't actually mention poison directly by name, it only mentions damage over time, and this is in contrast to Osteostriga, which refers to toxic projectiles and also triggering a burst of poison. Necrotic Grip refers to damaging combatants envenoms them with a poison, plus you've got the common keyword between Thorn and Necrotic Grip, which is Devourer. So Thorn has Mark of the Devourer and Soul Devourer, and Necrotic Grip has Grasp of the Devourer. Therefore, perhaps Devourer is going to be a key theme in our new subclass. Well, there are clues in the game as to how we might come about our new subclass, and it's been growing all around us in Season of the Haunted, and that is the substance Egregore. So this is all over the Derelict Leviathan. It's growing in the Helm, plus the Drifter and Eris seem to be running experiments with it, and we've even breathed it in to get through doors this season, and also aboard the Glycon a few seasons ago. Egregore could be the key to unlocking our new Darkness subclass, which we could call Poison, or Decay, or maybe even devourer. Well, here's a description of Egregore from the Destiny wiki. So Egregore resembles earth fungi in many respects, but while earth fungi feed on dead or decomposing matter, an Egregore is drawn to the unique physiological phenomenon associated with the deaths of sentient beings. The fungus is capable of infecting sentient beings through the use of skull-penetrating tendrils, which enables the Egregore to suspend the victim's mind in a state of near brain death, allowing it to feed on the drawn-out death process of the victim. Egregore spores are linked to a network that connects them across the void of space and even alternate dimensions, and these spores can apparently open one's mind to the darkness and permit affected individuals to pass through energy barriers generated by that fungus. Egregore appears to use the Crown of Sorrow as a passageway to infest spaces, so usage of the crown upon the helm has caused the Egregore to infect and spread throughout, and past the quarantine zone the crown is placed within. This is similar to how the crown sprang spores of Egregore upon the Glycon after it had been used to commit multiple communions with the anomaly. It's currently unknown how the Drifter came to be in possession of his ownership of Egregore, although he claims it was on an icy planet with no name and no importance. Well, Egregore appears to form a network of connections between darkness-related entities, such as the Pyramid and the Ziggurat, and connects them to a central point that communicates with those like Rolk and Callus, and that appears to be the Witness. So Eris Morn and the Drifter discover this through experimentation by burning Egregore stalks near the Pyramid technology, and that opens up visions of the network that Egregore forms between entities across space. Well, there's definitely a couple of details here worth taking note of. So Egregore spores can open one's mind to the darkness, which definitely sounds something useful for a subclass, especially given we already wield stasis. Well, the Drifter has some Egregore, although no one knows how he came into possession of it, and he pretty much denies where he got it from. Plus, Eris and Drifter have been experimenting with Egregore by burning it and seeing visions of the network. And that network is linked to the Egregore spores, which can connect across the void of space and alternate dimensions and connect back to a central point, and that appears to be the Witness himself.
I received your last message. Whatever reckless plan brings you to the reef need not be shared with the Vanguard or the Guardian, but keep me informed at the very least. Those haunted here have found a measure of peace, but it takes more than resolve to overcome one's regrets. We have both felt it. Our moment of pain can weave into the whole of our lives. How it binds us to patterns of thought and action. I have stared into the eyes of my pain made manifest, pleaded with it, raged at it. What face would your nightmare wear? For so long, I believed peace was beyond my reach. No more. I have found it in guiding others down the same path that saved me. But I might allow myself to want more than peace. What? I am not certain. Is joy the word? Might I find that again? You told me to live my life. There is more truth in you than either of us would care to admit. I have something that will be of interest to you. The lunar pyramid remains rife with secrets. Meet with me, and we will discuss what I have found. Take care, Rat.
Well, considering we have an upcoming expansion called Lightfall, and we've been breathing in Egregore spores, which, quote, enable the Egregore to suspend the victim's mind in a state of near brain death, end quote. Now, it doesn't sound very good. Now, we may be getting a new Darkness subclass, but what are we going to lose in the process? Well, there are a couple of interesting lore entries from items in Season of the Haunted, which describe Egregore in a little bit more detail. So we've got the Eidolon shell. So here a couple of ghosts are discussing the Egregore, and one says to the other, but a certain hidden contact, Eris Morn, has informed me that the fungus is similar to a synapse with the nervous system, and she claims it to be a physical manifestation of the darkness, much like stasis, but unlike stasis, appears to be an impure manifestation. That's her words, not mine. Well, there's also a lore entry called 4, You Are Led. So Eris and Drifter have travelled to the pyramid and are conducting experiments. Well, she lights the stalk at both ends according to the Drifter's instruction. Ashing spores furl into a dense cloud that envelop her body, obscuring her sight in soot-black shroud until it blocks out all else. Faint whispers, a choral swell through turbulent winds, a tone that forms words across the surface of her mind. You hear it? Drifter asks, his voice a whisper outside her awareness. The ziggurat resonates like a tuning fork. The vibrations themselves take shape within the smoke, and Eris is drawn towards somewhere distant and empty. She follows, and the smoke swirls with points of colour like stars, separated by lonely rifts of black expanse. Echoes radiate from the black deep like graviton ripples through space, and they wash distortion over the stars until breaking apart 4 other points, 2 greater, 2 weaker, and ghostly strands of incorporeal Egregore between them. She then sees the pyramid of Europa, Luna, and Savathun's throne world as one, their structures melded and overlapping, their connections cauterized in her mind like a vivid memory. Eris blinks, and the sensation is gone, and the stalk is ash in her hand. Well, there seems to be sufficient evidence in the game that we have a new subclass coming in Lightfall, and it's going to be some kind of poison or decay subclass. Given Eris and Drifter's experiments with the Egregore, it looks like we're going to be using this substance to acquire the subclass. So what powers or ability it's going to give us, we don't know that just yet. I'm hoping it's going to be similar to the Devour effects we see on Thorn and Necrotic Grip, and they apply toxins or poison to enemies. For now, it's only a theory, but I'm willing to bet we're going to see this new subclass on August the 23rd at the Destiny 2 showcase. Well, let me know in the comments what you think about the chances of getting a new subclass in Lightfall, and what do you think it's going to be. Well, that is it for a look at this new Darkness subclass coming to Destiny 2 Lightfall. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.